we still want our employees to be in control of their career development process.
Hi everyone, I'm Richard Parfitt, the Marketing Director at iVentive, and I'm very pleased today to be joined by Markéta Alešová, who is the Vice President of Global Talent and Diversity at E.ON and a Programme Lead for the organisation's digital HR transformation, more on which later. She has been at E.ON for several years and was previously at Energy before it was acquired by E.ON. Markéta has attended iVentive events online in France and the Netherlands and will be speaking at our 300th event in Cologne later this year on the topic of leveraging AI for seamless employee skill management at E.ON. So we're going to go into HR transformations and AI and skills management and all those things as we get into the questions. But first of all, Markéta, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, and really looking forward to the event.
Yeah, fantastic. So I was going through your LinkedIn in preparation for this conversation, and you're talking so much about the incredible passion and energy that you have for this global digital HR transformation at E.ON. So I thought we'd just start by asking you if you could give us a little bit of the context and the aims behind that transformation.
Very happily, and you're completely right. I'm really excited about this topic. So I am responsible for the part of our digital HR transformation that we call the retention part. So focusing on our learning processes, talent processes, performance and compensation. And here we are not only standardizing and harmonizing and improving our processes in this area, but also kind of changing the underlying HR system, moving towards the Oracle HCM. And what is the aim of our digital HR transformation? We are trying to empower our employees. We are trying to prepare for the future of work. So this is the aim, and so representing the energy industry, the energy industry is undergoing a major shift, and we need to make sure that we stay ahead and that we're ready for the energy transformation. And for this, we need a workforce that is agile, that is skilled, and that is digitally enabled. So what we are aiming for with our digital HR transformation is enhancing the employee experience. We are trying to leverage AI for data-driven decision-making, and definitely a skills-based approach to work is one of our core ambitions here. So those are the topics that really excite me.
Yeah, so it's no small task that you're working on. It brings a lot together, and we talked about skills-based organizations with Daniela Prince from ZF Group a while back, and she was talking about learning being the new recruiting because of the way that skills-based organizations can change learning's role there. So it's interesting that you've got that sort of retention part of it in there as well. And on that topic of skills-based approaches, we see particularly with AI that the way that learning and talent management teams are managing skills mapping, skills taxonomies, and talent marketplaces is really playing into this whole idea of skills-based organization. So and so much of it seems to be driven by AI. So could I ask, when it comes to AI and skills management, what have you done so far at E.ON, and what sort of impact are you seeing it make?
Mm-hmm. So we are already leveraging AI for skill management at E.ON. We are currently in the kind of last phase of our group-wide rollout of our talent marketplace, or how we call it at E.ON, our opportunity marketplace from Gloat. And here we are leveraging AI, first of all, from the perspective of skill taxonomies and skill ontology, because you know that when it comes to the topic of creating a skill taxonomy, if that's something that you do as a manual exercise, by the time that you have finished, it's outdated. Right. Yeah. And here we are really leveraging the opportunity that the skill ontology is continuously being updated in the background with emerging skills, with things that are relevant for specific roles and specific career paths. And it's directly available to our employees. So that is one way that we leverage AI for skill management. We also implemented AI-powered learning recommendations. So our employees can assess their skill gaps from a variety of perspectives. So compared to how is their role most likely to develop into the future, what are the skills that are specifically relevant for our industry, or what is the gap between the role that I have right now and the role that I want to have in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. And based on that specific recommendations are created for them and personalized. So that has been also a major step in the right direction. And last but not least, we are also mapping or matching our people to opportunities such as different projects, gigs, mentorings, and we are enabling every employee in our organization to be able to actually create a project, position themselves as the coach, mentor, or for a best practice exchange. So we are really here handing kind of the opportunity for people to position themselves into chances, opportunities that they might have not been aware of before. And you asked about the impact specifically, and we definitely get the feedback that employees really see clearer career pathways and upskilling opportunities thanks to that, that our managers have better insights into the skill landscape, into the gaps, so that they can prioritize where to focus with upskilling of their teams. And also for HR teams, we have enabled HR team for active sourcing throughout our organization. So that's also a new topic for E.ON.
Well, that's really exciting. So, I mean, we always struggle in learning to show the impact of what's happening, and so it seems like you're really making a difference there. And just as a little follow up to that, it's striking as well that you can have all the technology in place, but you've got to have that cultural willingness to let the flexibility in as well. So for managers, if you're going to have gigs and extra projects and that kind of thing, you've got to have managers who are willing to let their people go and do those things. So has that been a really important part of the process for you as well?
Absolutely, it has. And the cultural transformation that comes with the implementation of something like an opportunity or a talent marketplace, it's extremely significant. And here we are really trying to enable the people to take ownership. We have consciously decided not to put any rules in place when it comes to, if an employee positions a project or signs up for a project for maybe 1 day a week for a period of time, whether there are some kind of restrictions or guidelines for that. We have decided to leave it up to our managers and employees, whilst of course encouraging managers to support their employees and really focus on that long-term added value that this brings, because then we have people upskilling themselves on the job and expanding their horizon of skills, experiences, so that kind of that long-term readiness to take over a bigger role, a role in a different area of our organization is increasing significantly.
I guess hence opportunity marketplace over talent marketplace, because talent comes with that connotation of being that small section of people where opportunity is for everyone. So brilliant. That's really exciting. And something else that struck me as I was looking through some of what you've written about this and posted about is that so often when we bring in these new technologies, we can make things more complex, right? We can get more and more granular and go from 20 skills that we're measuring to 20,000 skills that we're measuring, or whatever it might be. And there's always that risk that complexity just overwhelms your ability to actually do anything with it, because there's so much of it that no one can navigate it. But what I've seen you write about it, and tell me if I'm putting words in your mouth here, but you so often talk about simplicity and about efficiency in the way that you go about things, about making things simpler for people. So, has that been a central part of what you're doing, and how do you balance the complex possibilities with keeping things simple and digestible for people?
That is a brilliant question. Thank you so much, Richard, because this indeed is one of the big challenges that we observe on the path towards the future here, because not only is skill management bringing complexity and AI bringing complexity, but sometimes also we as HR professionals, with having this background in sometimes diagnostics or psychology, we also tend to sometimes take a bit of a complex lens on things. So there were some key aspects that we tried to implement into the way we work, and how we had to also change the way we work as HR professionals when embarking on this journey of what we call talent democratization and the implementation of our opportunity marketplace. So first of all, user centricity in the way that we design the solution. So here really borrowing a little bit an aspect from IT and focusing on the fact that we need the AI that we implement here to serve people, not to serve our own internal HR processes. So that has been a big shift in mindset that we had to go through as a HR organization. Also, another aspect that we considered was integration over fragmentation. So let's make sure that whatever we implement is part of a smooth end-to-end employee journey that actually attracts people and motivates people to make use of the offer, because our opportunity marketplace is a fully voluntary offer to our employees. We are not forcing anyone to register or to upload their skills. It's really purely voluntary, and we see that to a big point we succeeded here, because that interest is very, very high. And last but not least, it was important for us to focus on the fact that we consider AI as enabler, but not a replacement. So AI suggests, it helps, but we still want our employees to be in control of their career development process. So the AI helps with the identification of the skill gaps. It helps with the identification for what might be the next learning opportunity. But it's the employee who decides what is their ambition, what is the journey that they want to take, what is the option that they want to select from the option space. So I think these three topics have been really key to try to keep things simple.
Yeah, and it's we talk about sort of shiny object syndrome in learning a lot, that there's a new technology and what can we do with it. But so often the most impactful solutions are where you identify the problem and then find the technology that you can apply to it. And it seems like that's been the approach here, rather than getting AI and thinking about what can we do with AI, with AI being an end goal in itself. You've identified the problems that you need to solve and then applied AI to that.
Yeah, that's a really good perspective, because that was exactly the way that we approached the topic. So we knew that we do have a challenge from the perspective of transparencies, of opportunities, but also making sure that people don't shy away from creating opportunities for others. So in our perspective, it doesn't have to be an HR recruiting, learning, development expert who can create a gig or a project. It doesn't have to even be a manager. It can be anyone in the organization who has a specific offer or a specific need, and that creates an opportunity for somebody else to step in, expand their network, and build up their skill set and experiences.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, and I touched on this a little bit before when talking about the difference between talent marketplace and the opportunity marketplace, and how you've obviously very deliberately branded it that way. And traditionally, when we talk about talent, we would be talking about things like 9-box grids and assessing the top talents, manager assessment, and tools like that to get to that stage. And it feels like AI could be a real kind of watershed moment for that kind of process. I think almost every year since I started at Iventive, I've heard someone give a talk about what can we replace 9-box grids with. And so has AI really changed the way that you approach talent? And maybe that's implied in the word opportunity that you used. But has it changed the way that you approach that question of talent, identify and manage top talent, and has it been what you would have expected?
So it has definitely changed the way that we manage top talent. And when you say that, I'm also really curious, how is top talent management going to look 5 years from now? Because those discussions about 9-box grids, I think that's something that all of us who had anything to do with talent topics have experienced many times. We are somehow on the journey, so we still make use of 9-box grids, because what we observe is that it's just kind of a foolproof way to visualize where are people on the potential performance scale, and that it's something that also managers are quite comfortable with. So we did not eradicate 9-box grids in our organization, but where we have leveraged AI and where it has had a significant impact on identifying and managing top talent for us, it was moving from more subjective evaluations to data-driven insights. So actually having data to be able to assess the performance or potential based on the skills growth, potential indicators, performance data. It also enabled, as I shared earlier, active scouting. So when I do have a very interesting position that requires a specific profile of competencies and experiences, I can now go into the marketplace and also search for people that have this combination that might be coming from a very different part of the organization that I would never know of before. And then also from the perspective of career development being more personalized. So this is where we see changes. And you asked about the expected or unexpected learnings. So I always expected that AI is going to help us surface hidden talent, and that has proved to be true. What was unexpected was just how much hidden talent did we have in the organization that we truly didn't know about before. And so that has been definitely one of the key observations and learnings. And from the other perspective, sometimes we see that people expect that AI is going to be kind of a silver bullet for talent management, right? And what we have learned in that process right now is that the human judgment remains also essential in making any final calls for placements or for succession. And this is when, if you ask about the 9-box grids, I'm being quite careful in the answer, and I'm saying it's a combination of both, leveraging the most that AI has to offer, but making sure that we actually make human-based decisions in the end.
And it comes back, I guess, to that conversation we had about simplicity versus complexity, that if you can combine the two in an effective way, it adds a lot to your approach. And I mean, it's a really powerful narrative, right? You talked right at the start about retention. To be able to say there's so much hidden talent that we can now identify, and we're building personalized pathways for those people, that must have really transformed the way that you're going about the retention work.
It absolutely has. It absolutely has. And it's really brilliant to see. And the concrete success stories. And we also see that the concrete success stories are the most impactful thing when we're driving that cultural transformation that comes with the talent democratization. And this also remains the single most powerful thing that changes minds of managers. And, we do have a multitude of cultures within our organization, and we have also observed that in some areas or in some places it might be a bit easier for people to be transparent about people with great potential that are in their teams, and in different areas we see that people still try to safeguard a little bit. This person is brilliant, so let's make sure that they stay. But step by step we are coming closer towards the culture of really being transparent and enabling people to move throughout the organization and make experiences in different fields.
Yeah. Well, because now you have the ability to capture those stories and see them in reality. That's it's fantastic. And I know we're coming up to the end of the time that we had for you. I did want to ask you, just before we finish, what do you think's next? What's the next step for this process?
What is the next step from this process? So we are currently finalizing the rollout. So we are having our last rollout wave coming this month. Then our whole organization, so over 70,000 people, are going to have access to our opportunity marketplace. So that's a next very important milestone. And then once everybody is on, we need to continue with the transformation part. So making sure that we showcase those successes and those success stories, making sure that we're also enriching our opportunity marketplace with new functionalities, taking it to the next step, and making sure that we really make the full use of the AI functionality on all of the levels in the organization.
Wow. Well, we feel very privileged to have been able to speak to you at the start of what sounds like a very exciting process, and it's amazing the impact that you've had already. So once again, thank you so much for making the time to join us. We're looking forward to seeing you in Cologne and Amsterdam later this year, and hopefully to hearing a little bit more about how things are progressing.
Thank you so much for your time, and really excited to join the events and share more about our journey.